Chapter 3044 opens with Carrie suspecting that Mr. Lab might have taken some form of stimulant or medication, given his seemingly insatiable desire and relentless energy. Despite her deep seated resentment and the murderous thoughts she harbors towards him, she knows that she lacks the power and resources to break free from his control. Her only option is to placate him, hoping that by keeping him satisfied, she can at least avoid his wrath and perhaps expedite his departure from Willspoon. She dreams of a life free from Mr. Lab's oppressive presence, where she can enjoy a semblance of peace and autonomy. However, her attempts to maintain Mr. Lab's favor take a dramatic turn when she suddenly feels nauseated and rushes to the bathroom to vomit. This unexpected reaction occurs just as Mr. Lab is about to force himself on her, leading to a tense and potentially dangerous situation. Mr. Lab, initially in a good mood, becomes visibly enraged by her sudden illness, interpreting it as a personal insult. His face darkens with anger, a stark contrast to his earlier demeanor, and he confronts Carrie with a cold and menacing tone. Carrie, terrified by Mr. Lab's reaction, quickly tries to reassure him that her vomiting was not a result of his touch, but rather an inexplicable bout of nausea. Despite her attempts to calm him, Mr. Lab remains suspicious and demands to know if she had been taking contraceptive measures after their encounters. His question reveals a chilling lack of concern for her well being, focusing instead on the potential consequences of an unplanned pregnancy. Carrie, caught off guard by the question, admits that while she had taken contraceptives, she did not do so after every encounter, assuming that a couple of doses would suffice. Mr. Lab, upon hearing this, softens his expression slightly but remains firm in his stance. He coldly informs Carrie that he will have someone come to check if she is pregnant, a statement that underscores his controlling nature and disregard for her autonomy. The possibility of pregnancy introduces a new layer of anxiety for her, who is already overwhelmed by her situation. When she tentatively asks what would happen if she were indeed pregnant with his child, his response is chillingly straightforward: the child would be aborted. His reasoning for this harsh decision is rooted in his pragmatic and unfeeling view of the situation. He explains that the contraceptive drugs she had been taking could cause severe side effects, potentially leading to fetal deformities. From his perspective, terminating the pregnancy early would minimize the physical harm to Carrie and prevent the birth of a potentially deformed child, which he dismisses as something that would only bring ridicule and shame. This ruthless approach to the situation highlights Mr. Lab's lack of empathy and his willingness to prioritize his image and control over Carrie's emotional and physical well being. Carrie, resigned to her fate, responds with a simple acknowledgement, but internally, she is consumed by fear and dread. The prospect of carrying a child only to be forced into an abortion adds another layer of trauma to her already fraught existence. She realizes that any hope she might have had for a future free from Mr. Love's influence is now even more uncertain. The chapter ends with Carrie contemplating the horrifying possibility of becoming a mother under such dire circumstances, knowing that her child would likely be viewed as nothing more than a mistake to be erased.